Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. My name is Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me. Good to have you here. What are we doing today? Well, we're doing what we always do. We're having a talk show. Some of you like short shows. Some of you like long shows, medium shows. It depends on the Three Bears story that you relate to. This show is right in the middle, but it is a talk show. So if you want the ending, go to the end. If not, thanks for watching, and let's get to it. Must be a day that ends with why Donald Trump is a Nazi. Again? Oh boy. The left got a video for you, some other fun stuff. Stick around. I'll see you in just a few seconds. Whether you like a long show, a short show, a medium show, or whatever show, this is the show for you.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more f***ed up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up.
Our good friends Still Point do the theme music for the Don't Unfriend Me Show. You can find them on iTunes, STIILPOINT, spelled a little bit differently, but the music is awesome. Must be a day that ends with why, I guess so, because Donald Trump is in the news again, and it's always something of why they hate Donald Trump, but this is the one that kind of gets in my craw, is that Donald Trump is a Nazi. I want you to watch this video. This is 3 minutes of nonsensical liberals just spewing that Donald Trump's a Nazi. Listen to this.
Deal with Hitler, okay?
I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that. I mean, that is Mussolini, Hitler-like language.
Trump's affinity for Hitler was always covered under an umbrella of his stupidity.
Echoing Hitler's words.
Listen to this.
Well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right.
Echoing the hateful rhetoric of Adolf Hitler.
It echoes Hitler.
That's the kind of language Hitler used in Mein Kampf.
About Vermin and Hitler and Mussolini.
That's a horrifying clip. That's a fascist clip.
Just going full on Hitler.
It's from Hitler's Germany.
We just need to say, for the record, that the term vermin was really effectively used by Adolf Hitler.
Echo dictators like Hitler.
With language evoking authoritarian figures like Adolf Hitler. And
Adolf Hitler.
Donald Trump parroted the autocratic language of Adolf Hitler.
Talk about the brilliance of Hitler's generals.
Correct.
General Kelly, yes.
Correct.
That Trump is now a dangerous hybrid clone of Mussolini and Hitler.
I will get to the Hitler.
Basically saying that language is straight out of Adolf Hitler. And
An ignorant person, when warned that Hitler used to call Jews vermin, would stop.
Using the language of Hitler and Mussolini, and there was a lot of coverage of that, Britt. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Trump's turning up the volume.
No.
Well, I don't see Hitler and Mussolini.
The Trump enjoyed the idea of being compared to Adolf Hitler.
Very similar to how Hitler established full power.
Headline: Trump calls political enemies vermin, echoing dictators Hitler and Mussolini.
Adolf Hitler.
That he would like to establish a massive series of concentration camps.
And which Mussolini and Hitler used.
If that sounds familiar to you, it's because it echoes the language of Adolf Hitler.
He doesn't feel it's an insult to compare him to Hitler.
The former president, who's also the current frontrunner for the Republican nomination,
I mean, that is Nazi imagery.
Is mirroring the dangerous rhetoric Hitler used during the Holocaust.
That is the imagery
language used by
Adolf Hitler.
Hitler and Mussolini. It's important to keep talking about this. I mean, he is echoing language used by Hitler.
Could take us down the road of Mussolini and Hitler.
parroting the autocratic language of Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini.
Just like Hitler.
I should note that Hitler's biographer once quoted the Nazi dictator as saying, "Should I not also have the right to eliminate millions of an inferior race that multiplies like vermin?"
So what happened in Germany with Hitler and
The Washington Post accurately points out similar language was used by dictators, including Hitler and Mussolini.
They've called Trump Hitler 13 times.
Yeah. It's exactly the thing that Adolf Hitler said.
The language of Hitler and Mussolini.
When somebody apes Adolf Hitler.
You start talking about people as a vermin, that means that you have dehumanized them. And the next step is extermination. That is extermination talk.
Lifting Hitler and Mussolini's words, what they used to describe Jews.
Associated with Hitler, expansionist power, wartime power. Trump, of course, isolationist, but it was fascist rhetoric.
And took as a compliment her comparison of him to Hitler.
So we've heard that before.
In Mein Kampf, Adolf Hitler referred to Jews as vermin worthy of eradication.
There is no mistake here. They know when they lift the language of Adolf Hitler.
We heard him refer to his opponents just the other day as vermin.
Adolf Hitler talk.
Using language out of the Third Reich.
Oh, Joy Behar said it best. And we'll get to who's been using this type of language for the last 6.5 years. And it's not Republicans. But of course, any similarities, any sinew to anything derogatory or negative in their feeble little minds that they can attach to Donald Trump or Trump supporters, they will do. And most of us have been feeling this. But now it's time to ramp it up. And remember, they project when they say that Donald Trump is ramping up the rhetoric. It's actually them, the hyperbole they mention. Because the truth of the matter is, Democrats have been doing this for a lot longer. The Democrats' history of anti-Semitism and siding with Hamas is rampant. The majority of the House and Senate Democrats voted no on the Israel Security Supplement Appropriations Act just moments ago, in fact. Rashid Tlaib was found to be a part of a hidden Facebook group that praised Hamas terrorists for kidnapping and killing thousands of civilians, including at least 33 Americans. Despite overwhelming support, 10 Democrat members of the squad voted no for HRES 771, which stood with Israel. Members of the squad being Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, Ilhan Omar, Jamal Bowman, and Cori Bush also failed to co-sponsor HRES 771, even though 425 members did co-sponsor it. Rashid Tlaib spoke at a protest at our nation's Capitol building, parroting Hamas talking points. She blamed Israel for an explosion in Gaza near the hospital. You remember I did a show on that, completely striking that down. Well, she claims that it actually was true and that she's not walked back her comments. In fact, she doubled down, defending the phrase from river to the sea, which implies the destruction of Israel. At a progressive activist conference in July, Representative Pramila Jayapal denounced Israel as a racist state. House Democrats boycotted Israeli President Isaac Herzog's address to Congress, if you remember. Ocasio-Cortez said she wasn't planning to attend the speech. Jamal Bowman said, without pulling a fire alarm, probably going to be boycotting that one. Ilhan Omar tweeted, "There's no way in hell she's attending the address." House Democrats refused to unequivocally stand with our partner and friend Israel over and over again, even through the May 2021 Hamas terrorist attacks. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, while in college, defended anti-Semitic comments made by the Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan and his uncle Leonard Jeffries, and invited his uncle to speak on campus. Leonard Jeffries has spewed anti-Semitic conspiracies that Jews control Hollywood, compared Jews to skunks, and had called the Jewish community evil and rats. Interesting. They only seem to care when a Republican supposedly does the same thing. When we talk about who was best for Israel, it's obvious it's Donald Trump. He was the worst Nazi ever during his presidency. The Israeli sovereignty over Jerusalem and the Golan Heights was a contentious issue in the complex geopolitics of the Middle East. I've done a show on that as well. Since Clinton, Bill Clinton that is, not Hillary, every president has promised to recognize Israel and her capital, Jerusalem. Every president except for Donald Trump wrote declarations postponing this promise, and Donald Trump kept his promise, as he does with most things. Trump pulled out of Iran and the nuclear deal in 2018. President Donald Trump made the decision to withdraw the United States from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal. Even though Joe Biden and Obama have tried to reinstate it, Iran isn't having any of it. Trump's executive order on anti-Semitism in December 2019, President Trump signed an executive order aimed at combating anti-Semitism on college campuses. The order expanded protections under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act to include discrimination against Jewish students. Trump slashed Palestinian aid and closed offices. These included cutting significant financial aid to the Palestinian Authority and closing the Palestinian Liberation Organization's PLO office in Washington, D.C., and the United States Agency for International Development, the USAID. These projects in the West Bank and Gaza, where they were indoctrinating children to hate Jews. These moves were a part of a broader strategy to pressure the Palestinians to participate in peace talks and negotiate with Israel. The Trump-Israeli-Palestinian plan in January 2020, President Trump unveiled his long-awaited Israeli-Palestinian peace plan, commonly referred to as the deal of the century. The plan, developed without Palestinian input, of course, proposed significant territorial and security concessions by the Palestinians in exchange for U.S. recognition of Israeli sovereignty over parts of the West Bank. And lastly, Trump's normalization with the Arab world. One of the unexpected developments during the Trump administration was the normalization of diplomatic relations between Israel and several Arab countries. The Abraham Accords, brokered by the Trump administration in 2020, led to agreements between Israel and United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Sudan, and later Morocco. These historic agreements marked a shift in regional dynamics, challenging traditional alliances and offering the prospect of increased economic cooperation and stability. However, they also face criticism for not addressing the long-standing Israeli-Palestinian conflict directly, which also supports that Trump was on the side of Israel and not Palestine. There's nothing more pro-Israel than that. Last but not least, and only one nut straight tonight, just the facts. Don't we remember the calls from the left as they sat atop their Mount Olympus of hopes and dreams and the moral high ground, and they looked down upon all of us MAGA T supporters, the Make America Great Again with a small t. It's a clever little word. It's called a homophone. It's when you go ahead and assign and spell out a word, but it has a different meaning. An underbelly, an underseed meaning that is derogatory and just as bad as 1940 Nazi Germany. And this word has been espoused thousands upon thousands of times a day across my channel and other Republican channels as anyone who did the ultimate sin of voting for Donald J. Trump is a maggot. You see, this platform is in the underside of the Democratic Party and all liberals as they espouse these words, and they've been doing it for almost 6.5 years now, as anyone who supports is indeed a maggot. Not only a homophobe, a transphobe, a xenophobe, a racist, misogynistic, Bible-thumping, gun-grabbing, Rust Belt state, uneducated Republican J6 supporter, once again, because we happen to believe in MAGA, which is make America great again, not make Aryans great again, not make Nazis great again, not go ahead and oppress people, not have black militant groups or Antifa and pretend you're anti-fascist while you curb stomp Republicans. No, we are sinners of the ultimate divide, and we are being maligned with Nazis while the other side pretends on that high hill as they pee on us and tell us it's raining. It's an interesting strategy. And once again, that Americans aren't going to buy because we're just not that gullible. And there's a thing called history. Read a book. It's not hard. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We are live tonight at 8 o'clock. We can also catch us at 8 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays for the Mike and Matt in the Morning Show or the Matt and Mike in the Morning Show. It doesn't matter, whatever. Join us. Stop by The Dumb Show. Get yourself some cool shirts at thedumbshow.com. Save 10% by using code DUM10, DUM10. Thanks for watching on the Spreely Network, podcast listeners. Join us live for the show. Stop on by Facebook at The Dumb Show and come on down and see us. Last but not least, veterans. It is 25 a day now because we are in the holidays who commit suicide or take their life. Please do me a favor. Reach out to the Veteran Crisis Hotline. If you have a friend in need, they will reach out free of charge to that friend at 988, then press 1. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We'll see you next time. God bless.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.